Good morning, everyone. We are getting started here. I'm getting ready to make breakfast. This morning, it is a busy morning. My husband's getting ready to head to work. I'm going to make some biscuits. You see here, I get all my flour in bulk. I buy it 25 pounds at a time, so I put it in 5-gallon buckets and use it for storage. It works really, really well. So there I'm adding all the ingredients. We added flour and salt and buttermilk and baking powder and vegetable oil and getting it all added into the pan there. The one thing I really like about these biscuits is they are really fluffy and they warm up very well. So you can use them later on in the week for dinner, doing like chicken and gravy over biscuits or like chicken pot pie. Or I've even done a beef gravy with hamburger over them. But this morning I'm doing sausage and gravy over biscuits. So getting everything added together. I get cream locally from a fresh cow. So I'm measuring out 1 cup and adding that in. And the next part is my favorite. I love getting my hands into the dough and really working with it, especially first thing in the morning. There's just something about working the dough in your hands and making breakfast for your family. So as I'm continuing to prep the biscuits here, just really want to talk to you guys today about cooking from scratch. I know it might seem overwhelming, but once you get started, it is so easy and you just keep growing with it. It's definitely something you will never regret doing. Your family will be so much healthier and happier. So now I'm putting the biscuits into the oven and letting them bake. One thing I do while I'm in the kitchen is I clean as I'm cooking or baking. So I continue cleaning. That way at the end, it's not overwhelming. You don't have a sink full of dishes. I just continue cleaning. If I add an egg into a recipe and a little bit of the whites end up on the counter, I wipe that up immediately because the longer it stays, the longer it gets sticky and the easier other things will cling to it and it just becomes a big mess. So I find if you kind of clean as you go, it keeps things cleaner. So now I am cooking up the sausage, and then I'm also making some scrambled eggs. I have a little hand mixer that I use to blend up, it creates less dishes. Also, in more videos to come here, I have an attachment. It is actually an immersion blender, and I use that to make homemade mayonnaise and all sorts of things. So the biscuits are all done. Sausage is cooking. I haven't started making the gravy yet, and now I'm getting the pan prepped for the eggs. So my gravy I make from scratch. It is literally just milk and flour. I mean, you can't get any easier than that. So there's the end product. And now I'm finishing cleaning. I'd been cleaning along, so it wasn't too bad of a cleanup. Just a couple pans and the cheese grater, and that was it. So also today I'm going to get into doing some spring cleaning. Spring is right around the corner here in our neck of the woods, so I'm just wiping off all of the counters. I do that in between each meal every day. Just keeps things clean. Usually the counters are the first thing you see. So if you walk in and they're dirty, then you already feel discouraged. So I just keep my counters clean. Today I'm going to deep clean a little further and go ahead and clean off the top of my stove. I keep up with this really well. So as you can see, it's not that dirty. The kitchen is where I pretty much live. So I take very good care of my kitchen. So just going to do some cleaning there. Really, I feel like with spring, I don't do a whole lot of spring decorating. I do more cleaning. Um, with spring, the cleaner your house is, the springier it feels. You don't need a flower arrangement or little bunnies or eggs or that kind of stuff, tulips. Sometimes you just need to clean and open up your windows and really refreshen your home. The other thing I do every spring is I always work on decluttering. Usually, when I walk into a room, if it feels overwhelming to clean or dust, then I get rid of it. If I haven't used it in a year, I get rid of it. I've stuck to this rule and it's just how I operate. It really makes a difference as far as keeping your house clean and tidy. The less you have, the less time it takes to clean, and even just tidying up and putting things back where they belong, it just takes less time. One of my favorite things to do this time of year is to just simply change out the towel that hangs on my stove or any hand towels in the bathrooms. Just refreshing them, wash them up, maybe hang a new one there or pull out if you have seasonal ones. Just really enjoy refreshing my home. So I'm finishing up the stove there and it is all clean and tidy. Now I'm going to fold some laundry. I was washing up some of our tea towels. I use these to strain different things when I make butter. I use it to strain the buttermilk off of the butter. Just washing up some of the blankets that are on our couch. We have a dog in the house, so our couch usually stays kind of messy. Just going to tidy up the couch here, kind of refluff the pillows and refold the blanket. Millie was upset that I had to make her move her head. I get a lot of people that have reached out just asking me, what I do in a day, what my typical day here at the farm looks like. So that's just what I'm doing here today, is just showing you some of the things. I don't do this every day, but I do, usually do this every spring for sure. And usually about once a week, I do a pretty significant clean in my home. My home does stay a little dirtier because we do have a dog in the house. And also, between my husband and I, we sometimes wear our shoes through the house when we're coming in from the barn and we need to put the eggs in the kitchen and we got to go back out to do something else. So it's easier to leave your shoes on than to take them off 15 times to walk through the house. So sometimes we do have our shoes on and we walk through the house to get something. So Our house is an old farmhouse, so it has seen dirt over the years, so it's not going to hurt it, but it does stay dirty. So I do clean at least once a week. I also water my plants once a week. I know a lot of people struggle with house plants and they're afraid to even start having house plants because they say they kill them. It's really not hard. You just have to faithfully water them. I water once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks in the winter, and my plants never die and they seem to just kind of thrive and hang out. And now I'm just kind of decluttering and hanging up some coats. This is a Monday morning, and sometimes through the weekend we get a little lazy and throw our coats on the floor because we're in a rush. So just doing some decluttering, and now I am dusting a few places that haven't been dusted in probably 2 weeks. Now I am making some salsa. My husband loves salsa. So I usually do this in the summer months whenever we have fresh garden veggies, but we don't yet. He's been asking for salsa, so I got some stuff from the store and I'm going to put it on the smoker and smoke some salsa. Tonight for dinner, I'm planning on making tacos. I'm doing some homemade tortillas now, and that way they are prepped and ready. And then all I have to do is brown some ground meat, and we already have dinner done. One thing I've learned is sometimes it's more about meal prep. You don't always have to have dinner ready by a certain time, but you do have to have a plan. If you get to 6 o'clock at night and you still have no idea what you're cooking for dinner, then you're probably going to fail that night and end up ordering pizza, because if you don't have a plan in place and you're like, I don't know, I'm not sure, then usually you're just going to end up ordering pizza. So one thing I've learned is to just meal prep, to always be a step ahead and think, what could I do for dinner? Sometimes you want to match it with your life. So if you know tonight, for example, my husband and I, we build fence for people. A lot of times he'll get the neighbor kid to help him, but when he can't help, then I will jump in and help. So a lot of times when we're going fencing or we have something to do here around the farm, I'm like, we're going to get back late. It's going to be pushing 7 o'clock. So I'm just going to do either a casserole or pre make a lasagna or even do a crock pot meal. There's nothing wrong with using a crock pot. I use a crock pot very heavily. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just have to know your strengths, know your weakness, and just do the best you can. So here I am rolling out each tortilla and using my dough scraper to break it free. You want to roll these extremely thin because you don't want them doughy. And then you just fry them in the skillet and you have homemade tortillas. Homemade tortillas are extremely easy and very cost effective. So here's the end result of the salsa. And then, of course, we have our ground beef. And in literally 5 minutes, I had dinner completely ready. So that is the advantage of doing your meal prep.